But the final part of this got me to trending again. I was again blissfully asleep in my own home. Apparently, not apparently, we saw it. After the match was over, here comes Moxley down to the ring. So we have the stare down with Daniel Bryan and Jon Moxley, the two members, as you said, of the Blackpool Combat Club. And the guy in the front row that had this sign in other places, it had been seen earlier in the night. He's got a shirt on over the top of my Cornette face shirt, which is apparently a fashion statement now to wear at wrestling. So they are available at jimcornette.com. But he held his sign up right in the perfect place at the perfect time, and the show goes off the air with Danielson on one side, Moxley on the other side, and a sign in the middle that says CM Punk owns the Young Bucks.
Amazing.
And boom. And I mean, it was perfect placement. And now I'm seeing, oh my God, the little buckaroos on the internet are just harassing this guy out the ass because he observed freedom of speech. There was no profanity on the sign. Actually, it didn't involve any out of company talent. It was all about AEW guys and their interaction, and it was his opinion. So in a free country, I would take task to him even if he was wearing my shirt. If he had a sign that said Harpo McFingerbang fucks dogs, you shouldn't have that sign on TV. You should have it out in the parking lot where people can see it and get the information, but not be subject to a fine from the Federal Communications Commission.
I think it's hard for a lot of people to understand that there are people who would buy a ticket to wrestling and wear a Jim Cornette t-shirt because they're fans of Jim Cornette and still be fans of AEW. There are people who listen to you and either don't agree with everything you say or can still like the things they like despite what you say, but they can still be fans of yours. The idea that you have to choose, how dare a Jim Cornette fan be there and ruin our fun? What is that? Shut up.
Well, and also, it's a free country, and if that Jim Cornette fan is also a wrestling fan and he wants to go on the theory that some wrestling might at some point break out, well, then if he's that optimistic, then I think we should honor him for being a good thinking kind of person. He's saying, hey, I'm going to look at this like the glass is half full. Maybe there'll be some wrestling on this program. Rather than glass half empty, fuck it, it's going to be the shits.
And this guy brought that sign, by the way, great sign, brilliantly placed. I mean, it couldn't have been framed better at the end. It was stunning. Someone had to be getting yelled at in the back, but there was no other shot they could cut
to.
They
had no other shot. And I'll tell you a story real quick. But anyway, hey, whoever you are, Mr. Guy out there that had my face on your shirt and held up that sign, if you'll get in contact with us, we'll send you another shirt in case they made you take that one off. Or we'll send you something. We'll do something for you.
That's right. Don't worry about the ninnies on the internet.
Yeah, the ninnies. Contact Brian. The nattering nabobs of negativity. But I'll tell you about signs. And I told you this yesterday, and you had forgotten about it. But you said it was such great sign placement, maybe the greatest ever. I said, I don't know about the greatest ever. Because in 1995, and it was right about this time of year, as I recall, I think it was hot weather, old Eric Bischoff, our friend down in WCW, decided that they were going to run Freedom Hall in Johnson City, Tennessee, a building that I ran once a month and had been for 3 years at that point. And they were going to do a live Monday Nitro in Johnson City and Freedom Hall. And I was not happy that they were running my town. They got the whole country to pick from. They can go to Seattle. They can go to fucking Kansas. They can go to Florida. They got to come to Johnson City, Tennessee. So I wanted to make them feel welcome. So we heard about the show because the manager of Freedom Hall told Sandy Scott, hey, Sandy, we got WCW coming in next month, and we can't, deny them a date. They'll sue us. But, we apologize to you guys, because Sandy had known the manager and the ticket people forever there, and they were very nice people. So I asked Sandy, I said, when did the tickets go on sale? And he said, oh, they didn't tell me. I said, check while we're here. He checked and said next week or whatever. I said, take out whatever a front row ticket was. I said, take out the money out of the settlement tonight for 8 front row tickets and purchase those. And we knew the layout of Freedom Hall. We knew where they were going to have to put the hard camera. There's not a lot of ways you can shoot that thing. So I went across from hard camera, 8 tickets, middle of the front row. None of them are on sale yet. So we did. So if anybody wants to look back at that program, like I said, I can't remember the date, but I'll give you a hint. Harlem Heat were in a World Tag Team title match, and they either won the belts or lost the belts. It was a World Tag Team title change. And right as they went into the finish, I don't know how this happened, but 8 people on the front row across from hard camera suddenly picked up a 20-foot-long banner that said, "We want it raw." And the only shot they had of their tag team title change had "We Want It Raw" blistered across the fucking video. Later on in the program, or earlier, I forget which, and I'll tell you what, this was a nice sign. I used excellent markers on this, the colored Sharpies, a nice big red Sharpie for the heart with the arrow through it. Took me a while to do this one. But it just so happened that during one of the bumps in and out, when they're searching for crowd shots and entertaining signs, you know, they're in Johnson City, so they saw a sign that said JC loves, with a heart with an arrow through it, Eric Jerkoff. And son of a gun, they didn't bother to read through that whole sign before they got a close-up of it. They thought Johnson City loved them some WCW, and that was on there for about 3 seconds, and they got down to, you could almost see them reading it in the truck. When they got to Jerkoff, they switched their shot. And now I didn't have, paid stooges involved in this. They were all legitimate Johnson City, Tennessee wrestling fans. They were just sympathetic to the cause. And there was mixed genders, male and female, regular-looking wrestling fans. There was one guy that was the enforcer of the situation that was, I gave him the permission to go to jail if he had to get that jerk-off sign on the air. But everybody else was just fans in the front row minding their own business, and something popped up at a certain time. Things happen.
I got edited off ECW TV with my sign when everyone hated Bubba Ray Dudley before he had turned heel, when he was just an unbearable babyface and then he was being rude to every fan he met. And he was still a babyface, like a stuttering, dancing babyface. And then he's a dick to everyone. So it bothered a lot of people, and I won't name names. A
stuttering, dancing dick.
I won't name names, but several of the smarter of the ECW fans who were around and knew everything that was going on, and Paul would feed stuff to, even they were fed up with Bubba Ray Dudley. So they encouraged us. I took my bed sheet from the hotel, and in big red marker, I wrote, "Bubba must die." It's on a bed sheet. You can't get around that. I was sitting in the bleachers. So when Bubba Ray comes out to do his babyface thing, I hold up the "Bubba must die." We have several other people in the crowd, because everyone's into this. Sign guy, the old ECW sign guy, looks up, gives me a thumbs up because Bubba had been a dick to him. Like, everyone's happy about this, except Paul Heyman, who immediately sees that sign and orders the cameraman to cut as close as they can. The sign's so big, you lose Bubba, you lose must, so you just get in giant red letters, "Die! Die!" with an exclamation point for the whole fucking angle. And you get the zoom. You actually see the zoom on TV where they're like, "Zoom, zoom," and they zoom right in. But I still think this one was good. This one, the placement of it, I wonder if the guy knew how perfect the timing and the placement was.
Well, he was looking straight at the camera. He wasn't looking over at the screen. And I don't know if they feed program to the screen there, if they have just logos or whatever. I don't know. So maybe he was looking, or maybe it was just serendipitous.